Now, most likely you've heard of approaches like changing your beliefs or affirmations, or you have to think and therefore you'll attract something. And it's as if you just sit quietly and just simply change the interior condition of you, and everything on the exterior will somehow suddenly emerge. Certainly by looking at your levels of awareness, you're going to be more present to what's going on. And by presencing more, I do feel, or I have experienced, that there are some very interesting opportunities that you witness when you are more alert and when you're more present. But the question, the underlying big, bold question is, what can I do to be better at creating the things that matter to me? That's the underlying question. And what's relevant to that process? One of the notions in the human potential movement is that I have to change my beliefs. So I'm going to tell myself something that isn't true because I'm under the trance of a notion that if I change my thinking, suddenly things will be easier. As if it implies that something is really deeply wrong with me, that I'm all wired wrong inside because I've got this storage of thoughts, and until I erase that thought, nothing's going to get better. So, if I think I'm stupid, then I have to tell myself I'm smart. If I don't have any money, I have to start thinking like a person who does. I have a problem with that, because how would our mind, being here and alert, buy the fact that that is not true? And who but a person that would be stupid tell themselves that they are smart? Who but a person that has no money would tell themselves that they have money? Of course, it implies, it begets the bad belief that there is no money, that there is no intelligence. It actually reinforces the bad belief, because who but a person that had that belief would say something like that? Of course. The thing is that we're tampering with something that doesn't really change our ability to create anything. All we're doing is just simply fussing around with our own quirks underneath the spell that if we do this, suddenly things will break open. We'll have a breakthrough. Or we'll suddenly release the obstacle, or we'll suddenly make the bad go away, and so forth. It's just bullshit. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. You don't need affirmations, and you don't need to try to reprogram your beliefs. You can't. You really can't change your myths and your notions and things. You can become more aware of them and intimate with them. But the patterns that are born out of those things are not able to be changed by the properties being changed. The properties are the properties. They're unchangeable. You think the way you think. So what you have as an option is to operate from a whole different structure that has nothing to do with your beliefs in it. The beliefs aren't even a part of what this structure is. And that is a structure in and of itself that's geared adequately to move you in the direction that you want to create. Think of it like an underlying river that moves toward what you want to create, rather than back and forth oscillating where you have reversals and ambushes. So we have to really look at what the underlying structures are at play underneath things, the patterns that out of those patterns start to influence the parts. And one of those patterns is that when we set a goal, we calibrate current reality against that goal. What is it that we have now in relationship to what it is that we want then? And when we accurately state that to ourselves, being true to ourselves without our stupid concepts or things that we can't see reality with, we are actually able to look at it. We do have that capacity. We're able to see that that is a bird, or that is a door, or that is a picture. We're able to see things as they are. We can. It doesn't require a great deal of effort. It just requires a little more awareness. So we then compare that to what we want to create. And when that happens, that establishes a system that is working on our behalf, kind of summoning forces on our behalf. I don't know how it works. It just does. Where the laws of nature want to seek that closure. And that's called structural tension. And it's used in the arts, in the creative process. So when we shift the subject matter of our life right into the focal point of that, we begin to take advantage of a place, a structure from which the path of least resistance will resolve in our favor rather than work against us. A good example of this is problem solving. But a lot of us, if we really look at the underlying motivation of our actions, is to remove or ameliorate an unwanted circumstance, where we have to get rid of something we do not want, rather than generate something that we do want. And when we're taking action to remove or eliminate something, once it's gone, the original action to remove it well, it actually leaves 2, and then that causes the same situation to reverse or come back. And I've seen this over the years with clients that run into very similar patterns. It doesn't matter what area, in their business, their life, their marriage, their health. They run into a situation where things go well, and then suddenly it just drops into things not going well. And we have to look at the underlying structures, the underlying motivations that really are supporting that pattern. Do we interrupt the pattern? No. We look at the underlying fundamental source from which their motivation is coming. Most of the time, this is moving from their heads to their hearts and what they really care about and organizing their life around that which they really love. That is where the fundamental difference happens. Is shifting something much more fundamentally beneath everything else. Not the topsoil, but the underlying bedrock, the source from which we are causing our actions to come out of.